It is.
The Goon Squad!
Gonna start using that as our intro.
Perfect.
Because we have buttons to use.
I might as well use them, right?
It's Super Bowl week.
You mean Waste Management Open Week?
Yeah, my bad. There's a better event down in Phoenix, so it's fine.
Phoenix is the place to be.
The single place to be this week would be in Phoenix. Really should have thought about that since my uncle lives there.
Yeah, I've got connections down there, but getting there, the whole scene, unfortunately, it's a bucket list golf tournament specifically for me. But if Super Bowl tickets weren't $8,000 and plane tickets weren't $1,000,
and then
I've actually got a hookup for the golf tournament, so
that's the easy part.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part.
So I possibly have a place to stay and a ticket to the golf tournament. So that's half the battle. But
absolutely,
nonetheless, that is going to be that city's going to be a scene this week.
They're going to make a couple dollars.
Yeah,
they're going to be a couple dollars. Absolutely, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to try to finish Sunday quickly.
Right.
Let's get done. And especially when we get to the field, some of those players have tickets, I guarantee, and have suites.
Absolutely.
They're just going to finish, and they're going to go move on as we go. So, hey, today, recap a little bit of Pebble. Get through some Pebble action.
Yeah.
Then we're going to actually jump right into Phoenix, and then we'll go to our Twitter feed, and then it's Super Bowl time.
So much Super Bowl.
Can't wait. I was at the barbershop, and we were talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I get him all, no, not really, because I get him all anxious.
Oh,
because he was just like, his son's hates Jalen Hurts, and I was just like saying, hey, this is a tough game to pick.
Yeah.
And just kept going through like, well, this team's good at this team's good at that.
Right.
Well, what happens if Jalen can't throw or Mahomes tweaks his ankle? Yeah. And he's like, you just got me all anxious.
Right, that's fair.
And I'm like, hey, sit down, buckle up.
Yeah. I just figured it would be that's just a great opportunity for like fresh cut hot take.
Yeah, but it's tough because it's Tuesday.
I know, but just like a fresh cuts hot takes.
Ooh, fresh cut hot take. Maybe I'll record it.
It's only it's just a 2-minute little snippet,
little take,
just a sliver of the barbershop talk. It's infamous.
Maybe next time.
All right, that's fair.
Maybe next time. All right, so let's get into it. Pebble. Field,
the Pro-Am.
The field was
there's a lot of disappointment in all of this for me. First of all, the weather wasn't exactly cooperative.
Correct.
We had wind and rain. Wind specifically canceled. Was it Friday afternoon?
I believe so.
And so that pushed back Saturday, which also or was it? I don't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. But it threw everything off. And Pebble is different in that it's a 54-hole cut instead of a 36-hole cut because the Pro-Am is going on. And the Pro-Am combined scores only last for the 3 rounds, so that's why they don't cut it until after that. But then they had a whole bunch of people withdraw because of that were out of contention and didn't want to stay the extra day, so didn't want to finish the Pro-Am on Sunday because they knew where they were out of contention, which also screws over the amateurs that they're playing with, which screws up like just the whole flow of the golf tournament and everything. So there was just a lot of weirdness in it. There wasn't a lot of firepower at the top. Justin Rose ended up winning it. So that's a name that, it's been around for a while, and that's a big win for him.
It is.
But
he has
ultimately, the names that people wanted to see weren't near the top or in contention. You had a great week.
I had a great week. And could have been even better if Katayama didn't just shit the bed.
Right. And I was either really good or really bad. There was no in between for me. I had 2 what I would say are really solid picks, and I had 3 really shitty picks, and therefore I will be doing 2 shitty shots this week.
That's how it works.
because your consistency was much better than mine.
Yeah, and it's because I spent so much time.
Yeah, no, it goes back to the Stoy gut.
Stoy gut, it works. I'm not just saying.
See a name, say a name.
Yep, see a name, say a name.
The Stoy way.
It's literally my dark horse,
Yeah,
and he had a chance to win.
Yeah.
It was insane.
So, I mean, all of your guys ultimately had a chance to win, except for the guy that you
Picked in the
well, I mean, he was your one and done more so than
right.
Than that. But yeah, let's jump into picks. Let's just start. I guess we'll go top to bottom here. Your one and done was Tom Hoagie. He finished up tied 48th. He was somewhat in contention, but never really threatened the top of the leaderboard. I had Seamus Power finished T15. He always was just kind of lurking. Made, I think, maybe inside the top 10 or 12 for a handful of holes before the wind disrupted everything, and he kind of dropped a few strokes and was really never back into contention, but did finish strong on Monday to finish T15. Now we get into outright winners. That was my one good. Well, one of my two goods. Keith Mitchell, you had outright winner. He was in contention the whole way. Ended up T4, just never could quite get over the hump, but they had a great on-course interview with him. You could overhear him and his caddy. So that is, I love those interactions. We're seeing more and more of those with PGA Tour.
As they should.
February 15th is a huge day. A week from tomorrow, the Netflix documentary drops.
That's so
super pumped about that. Was reading an article in Golf Digest that a buddy sent me, and it's going to be awesome. There are PGA and LIV golfers that signed for that before LIV really took over,
happened,
and Netflix is the one who actually has the contracts with those, and so they didn't lose them
because
when they went to LIV. And so they still have all of that interaction. So as these guys, come back from majors and stuff like that, we'll start to get more for future type of stuff as well. So that's going to be pretty awesome.
Overall, what do you believe that does for golf and to golf?
I just think it continues to make it more popular. Golf is at an all-time high popularity wise from an amateur perspective. COVID is a big reason for that. More people got out and played because that was the one thing that they could do. I think that's continued. Then LIV did their thing, and whether it was positive, negative, doesn't matter how you look at it. It was eyeballs were on it. Eyeballs have kind of moved from LIV, but they've continued to stay on golf. LIV's going to continue to grow, but anytime Tiger Woods is in the thick of things, which he's starting his own golf league, that more and more people are gaining interest and or membership to. That'll kind of start up, I believe, this fall, winter. That's kind of the indoor experience of which a lot of now amateur golfers relate to as well when it comes to the simulation golf and stuff like that. That's available in bars and its own location all around a lot of metro areas these days. So that's really going to hit home, and I just think it's going to continue to grow the game. The F1 series that they did on Netflix is very similar. Drive to Survive, I think it was called. I've only seen previews of that. I haven't actually seen episodes, but I've only heard people who watch it, never watched F1 racing before, never done this. It's amazing. Any behind the scenes look to something that we as people, as a normal population, aspire to in any sport. F1 I think is a little bit different just because how many of us are going to drive 250 miles an hour or whatever the hell it is. But every one of us can swing a golf club. Even if it's the shittiest swing in the world, every one of us can swing a golf club for the most part. So to get a behind the scenes crack at that, and then just to see these dudes pretty much just muck it up and talk shit to each other and just have a good time while making millions of dollars playing a game that right. We all aspire to play or have beers with our buddies type of thing. It's only going to continue to grow the game in my opinion.
All for it. Absolutely for it.
That being said, we'll get into my outright winner, which was Matthew Fitzpatrick, who missed the cut. He played. He was just always around the cut line, which I think ended up being right around even or -1. Missed it by a stroke or two. Obviously just never got going. Again, just a weird week depending on where you were at on the course during the time of the super gusty winds. Before they called it, really cost some guys some strokes, but the guys that played well, that leaderboard was pretty steady, 1 through 5, 7 most of the week. Nobody really...
Till Sunday.
Well, right, but like nobody really moved that much. Even on Sunday, there was a few guys that moved from like 20th up the board, but it's not like anybody came from, we didn't see 64 on the weekend. We might have seen 164 on one of the days, but
not back.
It wasn't back to back or anything crazy like that. Dark horse. This is who you're referring to here is Kurt Kitayama. Was in the top 3 to 5 right up until the last 9 holes, basically.
No, I mean
12 holes.
Technically, yes, but it was hole 1 when he went bogey.
That's true.
Start the final round.
Right.
So, like, yeah, but no, he wasn't. He didn't have it. He did not.
On Monday,
nerves got him.
Just
dropped it.
He was right there. Second year on tour, but again, 50-1 dark horse. A guy that was right there and just didn't finish. Hopefully, he can learn from that. He did that a lot last year though as well. So you'd like to see him overcome that stuff a little bit, but I think he had a couple of top 5s, maybe top 10s last year where he really fell on Sunday as well. So it's becoming a theme with him. So young guy, bright future ahead, but just got to get over those lumps. I had Ryan Palmer plus 11,000. He, just like Matthew Fitzpatrick, missed the cut. Top 20, great call out of you, Bo Hostler. Plus 240. He finished T11, and he was there the whole way. And I had Eric Van Rooyen, who
also missed the cut.
Yep.
Yeah,
thank you. So
I'm in theme.
So let's see, 1 for 4 is not bad, right? Yeah. But my player to fade,
got him.
If anybody knows shitty golfers, it's this guy.
It's that guy.
The name comes out of my mouth. The guy, and Spieth probably should have missed the cut.
Yeah.
But he made it by 1 stroke, and ended up finishing T63. I don't think much more than 70 to 75 golfers made the cut, so he was towards the bottom. Did not play well, but that was the one win for me. You had Hovland, who actually did play just fairly solid golf for 4 days. Didn't do anything crazy. Finished T13, so that was really the only... the top and the bottom are the 2 spots that I got you there. But overall, weekly scores 11-6, and I have an extra shitty shot for missing the cut with my outright winner, which is much deserved.
Which is much deserved.
So,
man, just we set the rules, and you nailed them in the first week.
Just really like to just get out in front of
those.
Set
the tone.
Make sure that there was no misinterpretation
and
of the shitty.
I'm working on our scoreboard. So bear with me. But we will be showing you like week by week standings. We're also doing a money count. Yeah. I thought we might as well. Since I'm not in the one and done, we might as well do our own little money count as well to get you that. And
that makes me feel better for this week then.
Yeah. See, right? Woo. Yeah. If you count those up, there's 3 ways for us to win: season points, shitty shot count, and money count. And you got the money count.
Right.
Hey,
that's better. No for 3.
Hey, that's true. That is true. So we'll keep that up to date and hopefully get a
I'll
cool
take the
graphic.
small victory this week.
And I'll take the other victories.
You take the large
victory.
victory.
Take the large victory. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. And I'll watch you do that stuff.
Yep. So that one was for Pebble. I'm saving this one for the waste management.
Might as well.
Waste Management Open. Scottsdale, funnest golf tournament of the year, hands down, players and fans alike. We'll have a par 3 stadium hole that will most likely have a hole-in-one at some point, and beer cans will be all over. I'm interested to see this year because like last year was obviously by far the most delay they had when it happened. I'm interested to see if they can change anything. I don't think the tournament really cares because that's the atmosphere that they try to promote.
Yeah.
And the players don't care. I mean, we got guys taking their shirts off it,
otherwise
wearing jerseys.
Right.
Like everybody, like it's an expectation that has been set at this course. And I think just going to be a really, really enjoyable week with the high caliber of golfers in all also knowing that the Super Bowl's there. So like the energy at this tournament is already 100. And I think just the atmosphere for this week there, I mean, turns it up to 120.
You realize like we're, first of all, it's rowdy to begin with. We already know that.
I mean,
now you're adding in Chiefs and Eagles fans who would most likely, most of them probably never go to it.
Right.
And now they're in town.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be like 2 notches higher. Has to be.
I just feel like the electricity in the city, even if those fans aren't there,
right?
I mean, you've got the concerts and everything like that. It's just going to be palpable. And I even think with the players, like you said, you're going to have players that are attending the Super Bowl. You're going to have Chiefs fans, Eagles fans that are golfers.
Yep.
Actually playing in the event. And, you know, just like other sports are big fan of golfers, like those guys are big fan of, you know, professional sports guys are fans of
each other,
or team that, you know, that everybody still has their team, you know, whatever it may be. So I just think the combination of those two things, like this tournament sets the bar as far as like, if you were going tournament atmosphere 0 to 100 and you were just going to go down the line, this one is the 100. Even more so than the majors in a way of like electricity, not necessarily seriousness or anything like that, but as far as like overall event, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is, like just like I don't it's more of a feeling than a word.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Like when these guys go out there, like they're just going to be amped. The whole time. In a bad way, like just in a fun, outgoing, like this is the funnest tournament of the year. So like you put that and then you put the Super Bowl with it. I think there probably will be fans kicked out like that we see on screen, maybe streaker type of thing. Like I think it's going to get to that level, which is going to be, I mean, overly rowdy. And this tournament is already known for its rowdiness. So
this tournament is what LIV wants to do every week, in my opinion.
I think LIV does.
This is, well, I mean, they might
on a small level,
but like they
Carnival-esque.
They want this every week,
but they also want the notoriety, and that's
Correct.
where they lack.
They also want these players.
Correct. This is what LIV is trying to be.
Correct. Without being able to be it because
they just don't have the pieces.
Yep.
But yeah.
But this field.
Yeah, weather. I did a quick check. We're looking at 70s for the 4 days. Thursday and Friday are a little breezy. 10 to 15 with gusts up to 20. Nothing crazy weather-wise. Saturday and Sunday looked a little calmer, maybe a little bit cooler, but nothing crazy. So weather, I don't really see much of an impact, especially with the field being as loaded as it is. You're going to have some names at the top. I mean, I want to say there's like, of the top 50 golfers, like 35 or 40 of them are here. It's a pretty crazy list as you go through it overall. So
yeah, it's
a loaded field.
It is loaded, and it's going to be so much fun.
Right. So you've got some guys that have played well here that are kind of looking for revenge on the field, and then you've got guys battling out for number one that have also been playing really well. I mean, John Rahm's been playing great. Max Homa's been playing great.
Mm-hmm.
Rory hasn't played much on the tour, but he's been playing well off the tour. And then you've got other guys that are looking to get things on track, be it JT or Spieth. You know, Schauffele's been competitive, but probably not where he'd like to be. Morikawa's probably been as solid as any of them. Right. It just depends on his putter. So, I mean, those, you know, all the top names, you know, Tom Kim, you know, that guy's just a ball striker. He's going to be around. Tagala's looking for revenge on the course because kind of got unlucky last year. Didn't really give it away per se, but, you know, ultimately hit the golf shots that he probably needed to hit to win and just didn't get the bounces that he needed.
Literally bad bounces.
And Finau's always had great success here.
Then you got the old feel good story of Fowler making a comeback, Day being healthy and striking the ball well.
Yeah,
it's just loaded, like top to bottom.
Yeah,
I feel bad for I don't even know who's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Metzger, I don't even know who you are.
Right.
Duffner, oh my, he's still alive.
Right. But yeah, I mean, you'll see a lot of names too. I mean, that will likely play well here. There's going to be certain guys that are a little bit unsuspecting but that's more so just because it's going to be that little more laid back atmosphere. And so those guys will do well.
Right.
And the guys that are a little too serious or take the game in a bubble more, their bubble gets popped here. So there's definitely some guys that can get rattled just because this is the Happy Gilmore of golf events. It is what it is from that perspective. Good. So again,
it's so good.
Guys go into that knowing it. So I think the whole thing is a little bit more relaxed because of that. But come Sunday, again, they'll want to get done, but guys will be ready to focus in and try to win once they get to Sunday. So
I want to know, like, so in when we saw John Lynch go from press box to field, I want someone to time the winner from winning to his press box in the Super Bowl. I'd love to see it because he's getting escorted.
Right.
Getting a straight escort. Might even take a helicopter.
I don't know. Do you know the time between... It's from like
when the actual kickoff is?
A distance perspective. No, so let's see if I can find that. Like,
I even know. I don't even know. Like, what is the actual stadium of the Phoenix? Like, what is the stadium's name? I always forget it.
Where's the Waste Management Open?
Bow, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da. Okay.
Isn't it University of Phoenix Stadium?
I have no idea. I don't make those things up. State Farm Stadium.
Oh,
by the way.
Yeah, it wasn't
in Glendale.
It's probably changed.
Let's see the distance here.
That's just not popping up. All right. I got nothing there. It's basically Scottsdale, Glendale, however far that's.
Oh, jeez. I don't care about the gate. Gate 1. Yep. 44 minutes. Okay. So and that's currently with 2 accidents.
Yeah. So, basically an hour.
An hour. Kickoff is technically what? They start filming at 5:30, but kickoff, I never know.
6:15.
Right. There's time. There's
they'll get
small window
done about 4:30 usually. So again, might be playing a little faster.
Might be a little faster, but they'll get there.
So,
they'll get there. All right. So I'm start this player to fade. You want to play your fade?
Should we go bottom to top this week?
Yeah.
Player to fade. This week again, a lot of big names. You've got DraftKings. Correct.
Sure do.
And those numbers were different enough to definitely take a look last week. My player to fade this week is going to be JT, actually.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
He's T7 at plus 2,100 on FanDuel.
He's a 2,200.
Okay. So I'll take him at.
I'm just gonna go right above you, and I don't know what it is on FanDuel, but I'm gonna take Cantlay.
Cantlay is tied with JT at 7th here.
Makes sense. 4, 5, 6, 7, yep. Yeah, he's tied 7th with Finau at plus 1,800. He just I don't, and I again, you guys, my research that I do is extensive. That being said, I don't see him playing well in this scenario. He's not that type of guy. He's the guy who wants to live in his bubble and just get to work. And like we said, this is how they get to him. So I'm going Cantlay. We both have T7s. That's sweet.
Yep. That's easy. Do you want to go top 40 this week?
Yeah. Go back to our normal top 40.
Okay.
We do plus 100, 200.
I think it's just 100. That's all we did before. Yeah, just any plus. I'm going to sneak in and grab Tom Hoagie. He's plus 120. for a top 40 finish. A couple different guys I like here, actually.
I know. There's just a handful. You know, I'm a ride him again. Give me some Bo. Give me Bo Hostler.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Big Bo Hostler.
Big Bo in this environment.
What, let's see.
Plus 175.
Plus 155 over here, so that's good.
Ooh, look at that gap. I forgot to look him up.
Hoagie?
That's on me.
One that really jumped off the page to me, just because it seems like an environment where he's going to want to have fun, but he's not going to want to fall behind, is Kevin Kistner. It's plus 280. Top
280?
40. Top 40 plus 280.
Wow.
So I don't know if he has bad course history here, but that was one that literally jumped off the screen to me.
Hoagie's 110.
Okay. So 20 on FanDuel. So you've got Hostler, I've got Hoagie. But yeah, Kistner, that seems like a really good number at plus 280 to get him for a top. That seems like a tournament that he would thrive in. A lot of good talent in this tournament, and he's just a guy that gets overlooked from a yardage perspective, but always seems to get in there and scrap with these guys from that perspective. So Black Stallion.
I'm going with the Gala. He's going to break through. He's got to break through. They cannot have these bounces. You just can't. 2 years in a row? Yeah. Come on. I really don't see it, so give me some Sahith the Gala.
What
5,500.
5,500?
For those scoring at home, has to be 51 or plus 5,000.
Oh, lucky duck. It's 4,500 on.
Oh, that is
FanDuel.
See, this is why you check.
Yeah,
that's a big difference, actually.
yeah, for sure.
That means I feel like I'm getting value.
Exactly. No, very good value pick there. Plus 5,500, you said?
Yes, sir.
I am going with the guy that you actually mentioned kind of in passing there as far as guys being healthy. Jason Day.
Ooh, I like it.
A guy that I think fits this atmosphere, has been playing well. Can he put 4 rounds together? I don't know. That's kind of why I don't trust Fowler, because he's also been playing well, but he's only been able to put 2 or 3 rounds together. I think Day's closer to putting a full 4 rounds together, and he's healthy right now. So
absolutely, he's 6,500 by the way.
Yeah,
see,
so
look at us
and flip flop between FanDuel and DraftKings. So
do your due diligence. You want to come drink? Come on. Oh yeah, good luck. It slides.
You're so fancy up in here.
Yeah, come on.
Sliding doors.
Come sit down. We're live.
No,
Oh, come on.
no, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm going with Crown Apple.
got some vodka.
Straight.
Well, next time we appreciate an invite, like a little heads up.
It's open. Literally open. Yeah. Yeah.
Next
Sure.
Tuesday.
All right. Outright winner.
Outright winners.
These two are. So this is hard. This is the part where, with this deep of a field,
Yeah.
outright winner. It's 2 weeks in a row. I can't say it.
Outright winner.
Winner.
Yeah, it gets
Good
you.
night.
Just ties you up.
Is a little easier of a pick. The one and done is do you take your shot? Because you've got such a deep field.
You do.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like, I'm getting really good value with my one and done that I'm taking. But outright winner, I'm going with Tony this week. He loves to play here. Lives in Arizona now. Plays a lot of golf in Arizona. So historically plays well here. Rahm also plays a lot of golf in Arizona, so watch out for him this week. You've got your Florida guys versus your Arizona guys as far as off-season golf.
Yeah.
Like Rory, JT, Spieth, most of them play in Florida with Tiger. And then you've got your West Coast guys that play a lot in Arizona. Tony's one of those guys. So
I'd say
he said course history and just familiarity with the course.
I'm going with the guy who's in good form, whether he's winning tournaments or winning his Muni, and is going to just eat this atmosphere alive. And I'm all about it.
Absolutely.
All about it. So give me some Homa.
Max Homa.
Homa at 2,500.
You got 2,500. Tony's at plus 1,800, I believe.
Same with DK.
Yeah, I mean, Homa is just hard guy to bet
Just a good
against
dude.
right now. I mean, this between exactly what you said, between how he's playing and this atmosphere, hard to bet against.
The only the only issue is the fact that this thing is so loaded, right?
Oh, right.
I mean, just for your top fives, because I don't know if you all look at this, but if you don't, Rahm, McIlroy, Scheffler, Morikawa, that's your five.
Yeah.
Then you've got Finau, Cantlay, Thomas, Homa, Im, Young. That rounds out your top 10. I would love to see that every time. And that's just the 10. You start getting deeper. I do like for a value pick for everyone out there is Sam Burns, by the way. Just want everyone to know that.
Way to ruin it.
Oh.
Hey, we had one pick left, dumbass. So, what do we call that? Foreshadowing?
Foreshadowing. Because I forgot we had the one.
That's a great lead-in.
It is.
To me, taking Sam Burns plus
Boom.
4,200. Great value at the one and done.
4,500 on DraftKings.
Oh, I will take the plus 4,500.
Really liked him as my one and done too. I just forgot. Whoopsies.
So, Sam Burns. Really like him at plus 4,500 for the one and done.
He's been playing well.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Course fits him
Wow.
well. Atmosphere fits him well. So yeah, hopefully.
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm gonna go with Hideki. He plays well earlier in the season. Usually gets a win.
Delayed it.
I'm either gonna play him now or I'm probably playing him in 2 weeks. So,
Right.
give me him at 3,500 for my one and done.
All right.
This year for one and done, I'm definitely not doing the old save.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
It's never worked out well.
So picks for the week. You have one and done Hideki at 3,500. I have Sam Burns at 4,500. You have your outright winner Max Homa at 2,500. I have Finau at 1,800. Black Stallions Sahith Tagala for you 5,500. Jason Day for me at 7,500. Top 40, Bo Hostler, back-to-back pick for you at plus 175. Tom Hoagie at plus 120 for me. And players to fade, we're both taking the guys in 7th overall position. You got Cantlay, and I have Justin Thomas, and we are fading those guys from the top 10. And we will see. That'll be very easy math for us. Since we're tied there, we will see.
We're gonna know real quick
What the week brings, but an exciting week. Will continue all week as far as covering the Super Bowl, but then from Thursday through Saturday, honestly, as much as possible, definitely be tuning into the Waste Management, and that will take me through Sunday mid-afternoon and right through the Super Bowl. So
Super Bowl.
I've already told my wife, and I think we talked about this last week, if there was a place that I could be, and it's just what we talked about at the top of the show, like the Scottsdale, Glendale area, I would basically be flying out today if I had my way on my private jet, and would be following the players around tomorrow, getting autographs, shooting the breeze.
You'd play today. If you got in early today, you'd play.
I would have played today, follow the guys tomorrow, probably played Thursday morning, and then maybe gone to the tournament in the afternoon, and then to a concert Friday or Thursday. Probably do the same thing Friday, go to the concert again, and I'm too old to do all of this, but in my mind, and then I would also do the same thing on Saturday.
It would be the same routine,
and
right?
then Sunday I would be tournament all day,
And then Super Bowl.
and then Super Bowl.
Yeah.
which would be, I mean, I would have to take a week off after the week off.
That hangover. Awful.
Yeah.
But it'd be great.
Right.
That is literally a once in a lifetime. And I'm
again, just
for all
two of
those
my
that
very
doing it,
favorite
yeah.
things from
Wrapped up into one?
a perspective of like, if there's a golf tournament I want to go to, it's probably this one or Augusta. If not the Open,
Well,
at St. Andrews. Again, a little bit more outside, but like this would be a top 3 or 4 tournament that I would choose to go to on top of going to a Super Bowl. Super Bowl tickets are absurd, man.
yeah, it's gotten to the point where, the wife has always asked, like, would you want to go to the Super Bowl? And I would want to go. I don't know if I want to be at the game.
Right.
Because your entire week, it's like $8,000 to $10,000 just to sit there.
Yeah.
It's pricey.
And like you would want to go with someone and or a group of people.
Correct.
And so like the expectation is that you're basically between the two of you dropping $20,000 to go see a 4-hour game.
And we're not talking about the best seats.
Right. I mean, we're talking about the worst
Like
seats.
I
I mean, not the
seats.
worst,
Right.
but
They're up there.
yeah.
I think there's no value there.
My father-in-law looked into it and got all the way through the processing. The big disappointment for him was like the ticket itself was like, call it $4,800, around $5,000. The NFL charges some type of processing / service fee of over $2,000
50% of the ticket?
on the ticket. So when he went to check out, his $4,800 or $5,100 ticket was $8,600.
Yeah, no, nothing.
And his buddy that he has season tickets with basically threw up a double bird to the NFL and was like, I will never go to a Super Bowl if that's the case.
Right.
Chiefs have obviously made it to the Super Bowl a couple times. Mother-in-law gave father-in-law the nod this year of like, hey.
You could do it.
Right. And then he's like,
So he should have done it, but then went to the golf tournament and did what we just did.
well,
but not
right.
go.
But yeah, he wouldn't.
But he's
enjoy
not that guy.
I mean, he could, but like it wouldn't be worth.
It's just
It wouldn't be worth the hassle for what he would be there for is the fandom of the
It's just-
Super Bowl.
It's just not worth it to go to the actual game. I don't know what
Right.
it costs to get to the festivities that surround it.
Right.
Something to look at. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, because they're really good at tailgating.
Right.
So like from that perspective, like they would enjoy that part of it, but like not getting to go into the game.
Plus, you miss all the commercials.
Right. No,
Too.
yeah, no.
Like, you missed the commercials.
I disagree. I'm just saying it would have to take probably a fairly special gift and or knowing the right place, right time type of thing for me to ever be able to get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, unfortunately the case for most people these days. Just is what it is. And a lot of us would choose to watch from home or with friends at a place where the TV's big, the commercials are on, and you can kind of wander around and do whatever the hell you want.
Absolutely.
So the idea of the Super Bowl, much greater than the actual going, in our opinion.
That is our opinion.
All right. Shot 2,
Bottoms up.
the root beer.
El root beer.
That wasn't root beer.
It what?
That was straight whiskey.
Oof. That'll get you.
Oh man.
Get you. All right. Well, while he's choking and dying on that,
Oh my goodness.
I understand what happens here, but this hurts your brain. Are you okay?
That was looks like root beer, right?
Oh, it's just whiskey.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, no, I can see how root beer, yeah, but it just, 99 whiskey. Wow, I didn't even know they had a 99 whiskey. I am so glad you took that, not me.
Wow.
Man,
Yikes.
and to be like mentally prepared for root beer.
Oh, yeah.
To roll right into a warm
Thanks.
ass
I appreciate you.
bad whiskey. Woo!
That was worth 2 on its own. Holy shnikes.
I would actually concur in that situation.
All right.
All right, we're in it. This is just in like, I get what happens, but I don't know if I've ever seen this before.
What's that?
this move.
Sorry, I'm recovering. I can barely open my eyes.
Out route, and then like, okay, and then just dips like a double whip.
Well, the defender
Just
actually does a really good job, but
eyes.
yeah,
It's the eyes.
his eyes are. He's reading the quarterback. He's in man-to-man coverage, and he's reading the quarterback.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
So
Now
it's like the opposite of what usually happens to Diggs. Usually he's in zone reading the quarterback, gets pumped, and then they run past him. This guy, however, you're just in a one-on-one drill here. He's in his pocket.
Now let's be real. It was great coverage. Okay, this route timing wise, it's not. First of all, not even a real like.
I don't know.
It's a whip route. It's a whip inside. I don't know. It was just everyone was blown up on Twitter about it because it looks like he disappears. Like right here, it's just like whoop, whoa,
Yeah.
eyes.
Well, in a one-on-one drill for your defender, just 7 yards from the ball, not to be in the screen when you catch it is damn impressive.
It is. Yeah, but okay. Linebackers, stand your man. Stay on his hip.
Yeah.
Stay right here. You have him beat.
Yeah. He's going at that point, like he's going for an interception because he's trying to beat the guy to a spot on a route, like from an anticipation standpoint. Right here, he's head turn. He's looking to catch a ball
because he thinks it's an out.
Right.
By the way, don't do that, especially in these drills, because these drills they're not normal routes.
And that's what I don't like. As far as like one-on-one routes and stuff like that go, not to say that he wouldn't be in a situation where he might need to win one-on-one or like this, but like you see like the defensive lineman going against the offensive lineman, and one guy either holds or does something, and then all of a sudden they end up on their back, and it's like, well, that's either holding or
there's something.
It's like the form and the techniques kind of get blown out of proportion.
Now this looks like his route, by the way. Just by the way he's running it.
Oh yeah, like he puts the foot in the ground.
But yes, you're right. One-on-one drills like these, it's tough.
The exposure.
Yeah, it
happens.
It happens a lot on both sides.
Yep,
both sides. Oh, good old Matty Ice. So, little quote by Matt Ryan.
Yep.
And if you really think he said this, then whatever. I've been contemplating retirement, but then Brady beat me to the punch. So now it's either play another year or retire on 328 and embrace the memes. Yeah, I'm not bringing up why that makes sense, the 328 part, but here we go.
If you know, you know.
This, choice words afterwards. If this happens, NFL is no longer NFL.
Right.
Not at all. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yep.
So the NFL is planning to have an active conversation this season about the possibility of banning the hip drop tackles. So we had brought this up before.
This with Mahomes.
This is with Mahomes. This one, the specific
Tony Pollard.
is Pollard.
Yep. Both in the playoffs though.
Yep, both in the playoffs. What could they talk about? How else in this one specifically? How else are you supposed to tackle him?
No, I don't disagree.
You're just supposed to like.
Because what this is stemming from is horse collar tackle. What's it been? Probably close to 5.
It's been a while
now, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
The horse collar was causing, as guys get ripped back, knee, ankle, those types of injuries, and now they're taking it a step further to if I wrap a guy around the waist and then drop my weight, which in most of these cases, these are defensive backs that are doing this, safeties. Say we saw it on Mahomes, but that was even kind of a weird one because he got held first. That's more of like the protection of the quarterback actually causing the quarterback to get more injured because the guys are trying to wrap and make sure that they're not like taking the weight on them and stuff like that. The Tony Pollard in the open field is like anytime you get a receiver or running back one-on-one or in the open field, a guy is going to be coming from behind or beside them to take them down. There's only so many ways you can tackle a guy without using your head,
right?
Without all of these things that we have to follow.
Oh, also, and not letting him score.
Right.
Like that's
ultimately the defensive guy's job is to get the offensive guy down. The offensive guy's job is to score the end zone. If I'm diving and I grab a guy and then I'm off my feet and drop, first of all, it's completely discretionary. Second of all, like, you're putting an undue amount of responsibility on referees to determine at what point a tackle and a hip drop happened. And nobody even knows. They can't even tell what a catch is, guys.
I know. And now you're going to say.
So the fact that this is even being discussed is
so nauseating.
Kind of disgusting in general.
Well, I'll lose my shit. I will lose my shit
if
that happens.
I think my comment to that was we just might as well put flags on. Flags are next. Yep. So just going to move to flag football altogether.
Absolutely. This is one you sent, right?
Yeah. So Brian Schottenheimer got hired as the Cowboys offensive coordinator after we got rid of Kellen Moore.
He's got a record.
He's now with San Diego. So, I mean, do you want to go down that list? Because I might get physically...
Because it's going to make me physically ill.
Yeah, I got you. So in 2001, his career started. He was quarterbacks coach for the then Redskins, by the way. Don't come at me like that.
Yeah.
They were ranked 28th in offense out of 32 teams. Then with the Chargers from 02 to 05, the only years Drew Brees' career where he didn't look like a Hall of Famer. Then he was with the Jets, which is never a good idea, as an offense coordinator for 06 to 11, and wasted some of the NFL's best defenses with Mark Sanchez. I'm pretty sure 2 of those were AC championship games.
He was the offensive coordinator who called the butt fumble play.
Sure was. The butt fumble OC?
Yeah.
Then he was with the St. Louis Rams OC. They for 3 seasons. They were 25th, 21st, and 21st in offense. Okay, not good. Then clearly got fired. Was not good there, so he went to Georgia for a year as OC and quarterbacks coach. They were ranked 85th, and this is 2015. Okay, we're not that far removed.
Iowa should hire this guy.
85th in offense. Yes. And then he got Mark Richt fired at that as well. Then the Colts decided, hey, let's come on over, be a quarterback's coach. They were 30th in offense. Then Seattle gave him the old thing, 18 and 20, 2020. He didn't let Russ cook. They were not good, by the way, offensively there.
Yep.
And then with the Jags, 2021, when they had the 36, they were 32nd in offense with Trevor Lawrence.
For those scoring at home, there's only 32 NFL teams.
The worst. Yep.
And look what Trevor Lawrence did this year with Peterson.
But hey,
the only thing I will say is that Mike McCarthy is already been said to be calling the plays.
So what's the point of him?
Experience. Bad experience, but like that's all I was reading about was the fact that he's been around. And my guess is that either McCarthy and or Jerry Jones feel like they can control him. And ultimately, that's what the Cowboys organization is about, not actually.
And he might be good at
coaches.
Reading something. He might be good at time management. There might be things that we won't see in here.
Right.
But that's not a good look when there was some good OCs out there.
Right. So, again, Mike McCarthy taking over play calling. So, ultimately, it's going to fall on him, not on Schottenheimer. But just that right there is all you need to know. And the fact that I don't know what the Cowboys were looking at from a success standpoint.
No, not at all.
When making the hire. So
I don't know. But, hey, Super Bowl's over. The Eagles won 37-34.
I've seen multiple scripts now, though.
Yeah, I've seen multiple scripts, too.
Yeah.
So, obviously, a lot of people going in and doing a lot of work to get these things done. But I love it. I love it absolutely. And I might bet that it's going to be 37-34.
Yeah.
I'll do it on both sides. I actually like that number. The numbers, how they got there, who knows? But in this one, the Chiefs are up 24-13 at half. At half.
Yeah.
And go on to lose. 11 here, I'm interested in how they got to 11. I would like to know that.
8-3.
No, I know how the math works.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
is that like a missed PAT?
The Eagles are known
safety?
for
Go for 2.
Going for 2, trying to draw them off sides. They've done it. Sirianni's done it multiple times in the playoffs.
That's true.
Actually, 2 different times he's had to end up calling timeout because his PAT team didn't stay off the damn field, or his special teams coach was trying to talk to him, and he's like, I know what the hell I'm doing. Leave me alone. So like they've had 2 instances where they've tried to line up, draw the other team off sides. So then they get half the distance to the goal, and then they can go for 2. So their plan isn't to go for 2 right away, but it is to set themselves up to be able to go for 2 because
and then they sneak it.
of having Jalen Hurts and the best sneak. I call it, it's the flying V of sneaks.
Absolutely. It's a rugby scrum.
Yeah,
it's
they
fantastic.
line up and they push the shit out of them, and they have one of the best lines in the NFL, and they have a very active, agile quarterback who, 1, is strong, but 2, can move towards gaps even within a sneak play. So it's very effectively used. So effective. And
the Niners did stop it once last.
They did, but
that was impressive.
It's still the best in the NFL.
Hands down.
Especially as bad as teams are at it.
Hands down.
So
Hands
Eagles do a lot of things well.
They do. They do. This is a good one. This is just a good one.
Yeah, need the audio.
Let me make sure I get it. Hopefully that's the button. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say
We're
it.
the champs right here.
That's it.
This Ben Silverman, 2023 Pebble Beach Pro-Am champs. Thanks to all the fans out there who came out, showed up, and supported us. Thanks to our loved ones with us on the course, our buddies, Darius and MJ for being great partners, and see you next year.
Yeah, it was an amazing week. That's it. I got nothing to say. That was perfect.
Man, that's it.
That's it.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right.
In the Pro-Am, Aaron Rodgers was on the winning team for the Pro-Am, which for the amateurs, they are scored off a handicap. And actually in his post-round interview, Josh Allen stepped in and basically made a comment of must be nice to get so many strokes. I think Josh Allen got like 1 less stroke than him, only finished maybe a couple or stroke back of where Rodgers did. But, yeah, the comment here is Rodgers has as many Pro-Am titles as Super Bowls.
Send tweet.
So,
I love it.
Good stuff there from Dan Rappaport. It's a great golf follow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very entertaining in a lot of ways. Has a lot of great content. If you are interested in following someone in that realm on Twitter, highly recommend.
Absolutely. So this one is just kind of insane.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the chances?
Right.
Which goes more to the, everyone keeps asking, do you think the NFL's rigged and scripted?
Right. You can't even really script.
You can't script this?
This is too much for.
But
script.
it is now scripted.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like it looks like that. So Field Dates tweeted the Chiefs this year, 16-3 overall record, 546 points scored, 6 All-Pros, including a Kelsey brother and their quarterback, AFC's number 1 seed. The Eagles this year, 16-3 overall record, 546 points scored, 6 All-Pros, including Kelsey brother and their quarterback, NFC's number 1 seed.
Yeah.
That's kind
Scary.
of that's just insane. This is why when we get to the Super Bowl picking, this matchup is awesome.
Tough. It's tough.
Be a tough one.
Just a lot of ins and outs.
Little
this is just something I found interesting.
I wish I could zoom. I don't know how to zoom.
As teams are
screw it. You guys can see it. Maybe.
Right. As teams are created, as teams, a lot of people will say, and they wouldn't be wrong, that the Rams bought their Super Bowl and now they're going to pay for it for years to come. And that'd be really tough to argue,
right?
Based on what they may or may not have coming back, coaching issues, player issues, salary cap issues. So you name it.
Issues.
But if you take a look, and the first thing that jumped out to me was the Eagles side of things. Of their 11 offensive starters, 10 of them were drafted by the Eagles.
That's impressive.
That's unheard of.
Impressive.
I don't know, because you don't see stats like this too often, and you have to go pretty in depth. I would say I don't think anyone has drafted all 11 of their starters on either side of the ball in the NFL.
In the Super Bowl?
I would just say in the NFL.
Oh, just like
if you look at the 32 teams and you look at their offense and their defense, how many of them have 11?
Drafted them?
How many of them have 10 starters on either side of the ball that they drafted? I'd say I would be willing to bet that no one has 11.
Probably.
So, therefore, they would have the most starters drafted.
Kind of.
on offense.
It is just ridiculous, actually.
One offensive lineman that came from the Titans. Besides that, every person in there
No,
are one.
that's AJ Brown, buddy. I know.
Oh,
it's tough
excuse
for you
me.
to see.
I can't. I'm looking
But
right at the
that's-
screen.
That's AJ
I
Brown.
can't even see the name.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yes, A.G. Brown. Yeah. So they have one receiver. Everyone else was drafted, and they have guys from like, I want to say the earliest draft was either 04, 05. So they have guys that have been in the league.
Kelsey,
18
Jesus.
or 19 years. Lane Johnson, I think, was about the same time
Yeah.
too. 04, 05, and up to guys drafted in the last 2 or 3 years.
It's
So
great by them, by
great job by them.
Clearly their
grew it
scouting department's
organically.
doing well.
Something, from a different sport, but that's something the Yankees were also known for, was being really good at drafting, bringing guys through their farm system
For a while, and then
well, now they have turned
buy
into the
everybody.
Rams. Right. But yeah, so like
but then on the flip side, you get more of like an average, right? That they've got
Yep.
5,
yeah, the Chiefs
they
are about
drafted?
5 and 6, 6 and
5 and 6. I mean, that's I would assume is
which
probably
that's where
average.
most teams are going to land.
Yeah.
Especially in today's in NFL and professional sports
Yeah.
world in general. That's just how teams are. I mean, that's how GMs are judged. It's like, it's not only the draft, but it's how can I use the draft or what I've got in the draft in order to make trades, in order to get coaches,
Right.
a la Sean Payton, stuff like that. Is
Good on the
so you're going to
Broncos.
see a lot more of that. But I mean, what do you have? 3, 4. So it's 6 drafted and 5 came from other teams.
5 drafted, 6. That's fine. He can't
5 and
see.
6,
That's
6
fine.
and
That's
5,
whatever.
half and half.
One half a dozen.
But yeah, so a little bit of difference there going into the Super Bowl. Chiefs have a little more Super Bowl experience overall. Eagles, you can argue are going to have a tighter knit locker room because you've got guys that have all only been Eagles.
Yeah.
And there's something to say about growing that culture and stuff like that. So
Not wrong. You're not wrong. All right.
another funny.
Kirk's boy. If at first you don't succeed, lower your standards. I don't care. Iowa fans, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
He should not be an offense coordinator. He can go back to O-line coach. That's fine. But
Yeah.
how could you, over the last 2 seasons, be okay with remaining him as the OC?
No, I mean, you can't. I heard an interesting take that I really hadn't. Not that I really hadn't given it consideration. I mean, I guess I just hadn't given it consideration. But basically, so Gary Barta is Iowa's athletic director, and he's technically the direct report for Brian Ferentz because a family member cannot be directly impact another family member's contract
Oh, okay.
at the University of Iowa.
That's
So-
good, by the way.
So Kirk cannot determine the fate of Brian Ferentz. However, it is said that Kirk Ferentz has way more pull at the University of Iowa than Gary Barta ever will. And therefore, even if Barta wanted to, he wouldn't win the battle of getting rid of Kirk's son
The vote or some shit.
without there being a lot more shit hit the fan, basically. And so that's why people are saying that, Barta got a small victory in the fact that he was able to put something in the contract that says, we have to have at least 7 wins and at least 25 points. However, the defense could score 14 of those 25 points based on what that says. And
Yeah, what does so for all those? I don't think we have it at all. What does the contract say?
so they updated Brian Ferentz's contract, and literally the only update in it from what I can see is they dropped his overall salary from $900,000 to $850,000.
Ouch.
Yep. And then he can make that money back in bonuses if he hits I believe it's at least 7 wins is how it's worded, and 25 points a game. Not
Average?
and or averaging 25 points a game. But there's no caveat that the offense has to be the only one that scores.
Just 25 points.
It's just 25 points a game.
Well, also,
So like this
Iowa
year-
wins 7 defensively.
Right.
By the way.
The other stat with that kind of makes you think where that number came from is that like Iowa in their last 60 games or something like that is like, this isn't correct, but they're like 57-3 if they score 25 points. And then like in the last 3 years, they're 35-0 if they score 25 points. Something. It's like 25 points is a benchmark that if they get 2, they win the damn game, based on their defense. So the thought process, 1 is, well, that's bullshit. 2, their schedule's soft next year, and 3, that they're going to be running up the score early on in games because Brian wants
and
to.
they're just locking it down.
Yeah. So like they might try to score, in a game they're winning 30-0. Iowa's never been really known to run up the score. Maybe Minnesota, but they don't really like them. And if you run up the score in a Big Ten game, it is what it is. But if you're running up the score against UNI to save your ass, then it just puts a bigger target to me on the athletic department for what they did, because it doesn't make any damn sense.
Do you think, as a player, do you think it's going to be like fair in that situation? Like, again, you and I, you're up 30-0.
Right.
2s should be in. But if he wants to run it up, he's not putting 2s in. He's going to keep 1s in longer, which means higher risk for injury. All these things come into play, and it's all because of his bullshit contract.
Yeah.
See, I think that's bullshit for the players personally.
I don't disagree.
I just, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to play their cupcake schedule, and hopefully they're going to try to score 70, because then he can go drop 4 eggs later and be fine. Whatever. Bullshit. But Iowa, do better.
Yeah.
You need an offense coordinator that's worth a damn. That was it. All right. Let me cut back over to us. And we don't have it, but hope you hear that. It's Super Bowl time.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Woo! Man.
57.
57. A lot of Super Bowls.
That's an L and a V and 2 I's.
Sure is.
For those Romans
out there.
Romans that like their numerals.
But here we are. It's Super Bowl time, right?
Do you ever obviously, like, it's a part of the Super Bowl icon marketing. Like, do you like it? No. Like, do you just think it should just be the number?
Yeah. Some of them are cool. Like when there's X's and stuff.
Like, they look cool.
Like, look cool, but this
like
one.
LVII doesn't do anything for you?
Switch it up every now and again.
Right.
LV made sense.
I mean, I get it.
Right?
Right.
Like you can have it at Vegas.
But like,
LV
you're going to
stuff.
have Super Bowl 60, obviously, be the next big one. So you'll have LX.
Alex, that like track. Anything with an X.
Like, Lexus should be a big sponsor of Super Bowl 60. I'm throwing that out there, Lexus. You're welcome.
Just helping you out, marketing team.
Right. But it's unique to the sport. There's no other sport that really uses that.
Unique New York.
Well, I mean, we don't really keep track of. I was thinking about this the other day. Obviously, we don't really keep track of like World Series
numbers. I don't even know. I couldn't even fathom what we're on.
Or like, I mean, anything NHL, Stanley Cup final, whatever. Like, Super Bowl is the only one we count.
Which is kind of silly because
NBA we don't count.
Before the Super Bowl, it wasn't called the Super Bowl.
Right.
So you don't need to count. I get it if the Super Bowl's around forever and we had the 2 different leagues and they merged, and fine. But the fact is, like, it wasn't called the Super Bowl. So
right. But it's the only one we count in.
And how far are we going?
Right. No, that's like a super valid question. One that I've like.
Once you get past 100, fine counting. Once you get to 100, what after that? Like.
Right. Well, and I thought about it on a surface level. I'm actually, as I'm talking, I hadn't even thought about it that deep. Like, what are we doing? Why? Okay.
No one's. I mean, no.
I'm gonna have to.
I get it from. Okay, maybe this way, because then you can say, "Hey, do you remember Super Bowl 41 when X and X happened?"
Right, but no. Ultimately, no. I don't remember Super Bowl 55.
No, I don't either.
That was 2 Super Bowls ago for those scoring at home.
Was it the Bucks Chiefs?
Do you remember Super Bowl 56?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bengals Rams? Right.
I don't remember like what happened.
Right.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, like the Rams won, but like
could just
Super
be
Bowl
the
55
year.
was that that was Bucks Chiefs.
Bucks Chiefs, yeah. I do remember
Super Bowl
that one now that I remember it.
Was
couldn't tell you.
Chiefs Niners.
Oh yeah. Yep.
because that was the one the Chiefs won.
Yeah.
And they lost, and then they didn't make it because they lost to Burrow.
And then they
now
lost
they're back again.
37 to 34.
So they've made the only reason I know like the last 5 is because the Chiefs were in 5 AFC Championship games in a row,
Which is
3 Super Bowls. So
insane.
right
In the memory.
yeah. So yeah, I had actually never really thought about that, but yeah, give us your take on Roman numerals.
The hell's going on? And why
What
did
is
it
going
start?
on? NFL, we need answers as we usually do.
Yes.
Um,
But we're in it. So Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Got the old Chiefs Eagles matchup.
Chiefs Eagles. Eagles are currently 1.5 point favorites. Seems like across the board, the Chiefs opened about the same, but it quickly, within the day, switched and it has kind of remained in the same area. The over-under has continually grown. I think it started around 47, 48.
Yeah, I would hit that so hard.
And is now at 50 and a half.
So hard.
50 and a half is where we're currently at for over-under. This game, man.
I've flip-flopped so many damn times. Now, hey, full disclosure, my $50 bet that FanDuel did earlier in the year, I've already made my money back on that one, right?
Yeah.
The Chiefs win. I win $550. So clearly I have some stake in the Chiefs.
You have a rooting interest.
But from our conversation standpoint.
Is there any cash out availability on that?
There was. I don't know if they've updated it. No, there was in the conference championships.
Okay.
And then as soon as the game ended, no chance, not a shot.
All right.
Get no luck there, which is fair. Fine. I mean, at this point, if I didn't cash out, which I really thought of, clearly, for like $200, if you're gonna get the Super Bowl,
well, I mean, we talked
out.
talked about it when they were playing the Bengals.
Yeah.
Whether it made sense or not, but it felt like they were going to win that game.
Yeah.
As we were watching, they were the better team.
Although I did have it pulled up.
Yeah.
When it was like 3 minutes left and the Bengals got the ball back because the Chiefs couldn't score on that short field.
Yep.
And I was like, I clicked
almost.
and never pushed confirm.
Yep.
And it's because my children had, I don't know, they started screaming, yelling.
Right.
So I wasn't paying attention.
Right.
And then, they got the ball back and I was like, oh, well, yeah, they're going to win now.
Yeah.
So I got lucky. But anywho, back to it. This is, man, I've been back and forth on it, personally. And I don't even know what it comes down to at this point. Healthy. Someone's got to be healthy. Like if both teams are healthy throughout, I could see it going to overtime.
So from a health perspective, the only person that I've seen somewhat influential scratch is McCole Hardman will not be playing for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Besides that, I fully expect Mahomes and Kelsey to be healthy after 2 weeks. Kelsey showed no sign of any back issues during
Zero.
the Bengals game.
Zero.
And Mahomes, I would say, looked 80 to 85%. And I expect that number to increase. Now, he may not be 100, but I don't anticipate him being able to or not being able to do anything that he would normally do. Whereas he probably didn't scramble or run as much against the Bengals. I fully expect him to be able to do everything he would normally do come Super Bowl Sunday.
Now, my concern there is he will feel 100%. But it, like the healing process is not going to be 100%.
Right.
So when you feel 100%, but it's not 100%, and you do something normal or extra, and it tweaks it, that is my concern.
Yeah,
and how bad is that tweak? Is it back to the conference championships? At that point, I don't think there's really big of a problem.
Right.
Or is it back to the divisional round where he couldn't move?
Right.
And then that's an issue. So that's my concern going into for him specifically in the depth at receiver for the Chiefs. If they keep getting banged up over and over again, those are my biggest concerns for the Chiefs.
Right.
The Eagles, everyone keeps saying, or Hurts keeps saying he's not 100%. Get the out of here. I don't have an injury concern for them. No. I have a younger team, all drafted, a young quarterback who hasn't been in this position before. Concern. Those are my two concerns going into this game. What are your concerns?
Mahomes' health for 4 quarters. against the number one pass rush in the league. And the Chiefs secondary. The other possible injury is Snead is in concussion protocol, and he's the leader of their defensive backfield. If he can't play, that is a concern. Just from a defensive leadership perspective, it's a concern that the Eagles are very good on play action and taking advantage of the back end of the Chiefs' defense because they will need to stop the run first and make Jalen Hurts beat them. And that being the case, having Smith, Goddard, and A.J. Brown, that's a pretty lethal three-headed monster along with backs out of the backfield. They could take advantage of that. And so the youth / inexperience of the Eagles is somewhat of concern, but I think the leadership and guys who were there 5 years ago, I think it was, they still have guys that were there. I think it's between like 7 and 9 guys that were on the Super Bowl team. So a very good number. Obviously not as many as the Chiefs, simply because they haven't been there for several years. But those would be like the two things that I'm looking at. And, as far as like keys to the game, I'll kind of jump into that as well while we're sitting on it. I mentioned the pass rush for Philadelphia, number 1, second all time in sacks for the season. I believe they have 78 sacks.
It's because they have
19.
They're 8 deep.
Yeah,
and
they're fresh. 19 games, 78 sacks. So, basically 4 sacks a game. The Chiefs only really give up like 1.5 sacks a game. Now the Bengals did get him 3 times. I think some of that was Mahomes being a little careful. Number 1 pass defense overall. I think that ties directly, honestly, into the pass rush. They are definitely ball hawks because of that. There's a lot of being able to jump routes and stuff like that, knowing that you're getting pressure. So if the Chiefs are likely going to go quick pass game, which has been their MO this year more than any other year, so I don't really see them trying to take the shots that maybe some teams have tried against the Eagles, but I think the Eagles can be a little suspect in the secondary, even though the numbers from a pass yard average say otherwise. Rushing game, they're middle of the pack, so the Chiefs will want to try to establish the run with Pacheco. I don't know if they'll stay with it. It's hard to take the ball out of Mahomes' hands in the biggest game of the year. I think Reed will have trouble doing that. So we'll see if they try to stick with that at all. I hope they try to establish the run a little bit. Just don't know if they will. Defensively, for the Chiefs, they've got to be able to stop the run. Chris Jones and company have to be able to control that line of scrimmage, which they were able to do a phenomenal job against Cincinnati, and only having to bring 4 or 5 guys at most. They didn't have to stack the box to stop the run. They didn't have to stack the box or blitz to get to Burrow. That being said, Philly has a top 3 offensive line in the league. They don't allow sacks. Hurts is mobile. The one thing is, I think that the Chiefs have a decent amount of experience playing against Lamar Jackson, and they've had pretty good success. That's not to say Lamar Jackson and Hurts are the same player, because I think Hurts is a little more polished as a passer and wants to be more of a pocket passer, but I think they are going to game plan very similarly, easy for me to say.
Right.
You know what?
Outright winner.
Hey, look at you.
I know.
Killing
I'm
it.
learning.
It's just when we're talking about football, you can talk golf.
Correct.
That's fine. In that they are going to make Hurts beat them before Miles Sanders or Hurts running the ball beats them. They're going to make him use his arm, and make those receivers win, hopefully with a good pass rush, because Hurts has proven that under pressure, he is capable of throwing multiple interceptions in a game, and then they'll lean on their defense a little bit more. But, overall, Kansas City has number 1 offense in the NFL for the year. Philadelphia's had the number 1 offense in the playoffs, and they also had the number 3 offense overall total. So the game looks to lean towards offense. I just don't know if in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl, particularly, that specifically in the first half, that I would really lean towards the over. I would lean towards the under, specifically in the first half, as far as feeling out aggressiveness and ability to create plays for both sides on the defensive end. Have been big things for both teams, specifically in the playoffs. So that's kind of where I look as far as, what I'm looking at in making my determinations overall.
Yeah. I mean, I agree on a lot of those. The Chiefs will force Hurts to throw the ball. That has to be their game plan. I don't understand if they did something else. Right? That is the game plan. I'm running zone. I'm not letting them run the ball. If he picks me apart for 360 yards and beats us, I can live with that.
Right.
I cannot live with him running for 150 and then we're out here guessing, running around guessing. So that has to happen.
Yeah.
The quick passing game of the Chiefs has to hit the sidelines. They have to get this defensive line running, and they have to get them running early. The only way to beat this juggernaut of a front 8, but not even front 8, they are too deep on the front 4, right? You got to get them gassed, so you need to just do everything on the outside, quick passes, get them running, and then you can hopefully lean on Pacheco later if you need to. But I believe they're going to attack from those perspectives. I agree. I think the Eagles' back end is weaker or unproven because they haven't needed to be. When you have 70-something sacks, and that means you're probably close to doubling that in hurries, it's not really hard to cover at all, okay? But I think the Chiefs' quick game can take that away. And the only way that the Eagles could try to take that away is if they go press man. That's a very, very scary situation because guess what? Kelsey is going to be sitting there, and how are you going to match him up?
Yeah.
So those are my things. And again, obviously, we've already talked about it, but Mahomes' health. Can he stay healthy for 4 quarters? That'll be the big difference. I do not believe Hurts is confident right now in his passing ability. I don't think he has been since the Bears game, since his injury, which, again, I still don't believe, by the way, he was fully injured. And so I'm going to just test his arm, test his mentality of you have to throw for 350 to beat us.
Right.
If you don't, we're going to beat you.
Now, here I'll kind of play devil's advocate a little bit from an offense-defense perspective. Excuse me. From a confidence perspective, if I play zone and I don't try to confuse Hurts, but I'm just making him throw the ball, but if I give him easy throws against a zone early, where it's like, yeah, we might be in a run call, and I need to either audible or my RPO, run pass option, turns into a pass, and I have an easy out route, an easy curl route, an easy seam route that I'm allowed to throw early. Does that not give me more confidence when I need to throw the press man go route late? Or, as the Chiefs have to come up and start respecting me hitting 5, 7, 10, 12 to 15 yard gains, moving the ball down the field consistently, if I'm able to do that, is that a little bit of a concern, or we're going to make you earn that for 4 quarters, and that's where we're going to make it. I mean, if you do it, you do it. Yeah, tip the cap.
Yes and no. That would be your concern.
Right.
But I would not come out in just like a more vanilla look. I would try to confuse him. He's still young,
right?
So you're going to come out and try to confuse the hell out of him, and then you're going to play off of that, right?
Yep.
If you don't confuse him, well. Oops, right. We messed that one up, and then you're probably going to go more to your man and all of those things.
Now, are you talking like zone blitz, playing soft behind type of stuff, or are you talking more just rush forward, drop 7, make him actually go through a progression?
Yeah, but I'm going to be showing pressure.
Okay.
I want him to be thinking. I want him to think as much as possible.
Right.
But I'm dropping 7.
Yeah.
And making sure that you also have to test your front four. You have to test their O-line. Now, testing their O-line is a very bad idea.
Well, I mean,
but
if they let
have
Lane
to.
Johnson go a half a s-
Oh my! Well, then you might
snap
as well.
early, then-
You might as well blitz 17.
Right.
Like
Yep.
you're not getting home. That has to be taken care of
right.
in the Super Bowl. But you have to test your front four on their front five. You have to test Hurts's ability to make those reads. And so I'm going to crowd the line, make it look like I'm in man, make it look like I'm trying to stop the run, and then we're just going to bail out. We're going to switch those up a while,
Okay.
and to see how he reacts.
Right.
Because I cannot trust him to 4 quarters
Right.
do a Mahomes nickel and dime you. He doesn't have that. I also thought Mahomes couldn't do it.
Right.
But he has done
I
it
mean,
this
they've
year.
kind of grown that offense into that based
Correct.
on their personnel.
Exactly. But I never thought he would have that
No, right.
mentality.
Right.
Right. But he has. Hurts is too young to have that. He hasn't been through it.
I mean, Mahomes has that mentality to a point where, like, within the offense, that's what they're doing. But he still doesn't, to the fact that, you know, and I've pointed this out multiple times with him, is that he'll leave a clean pocket. And so, like, that's where he still gets a little antsy, is like, and you get a little bit bigger plays. Even though you're not throwing the ball as far down the field, you're giving your guys more time to get separation, create a mismatch, or create something where a defender falls down, loses track of a guy. You know, maybe you hit a guy on a wheel route, maybe you get, you know, Kelsey on a playground route, you know, which happens a lot for the Chiefs. You know, and on the podcast earlier this week that Travis and Jason do, Jason asked Travis, you know, like, how the hell do you get so open? Like, guys are they're clearly game planning against you. And Kelsey's like, I mean, play for Andy Reid, he can get anybody open. He said something else kind of smart ass, but like something along those lines is basically like, Andy Reid will get you open.
Yeah.
And then also he gives them the leeway as far as option routes and stuff like that, that Mahomes and Kelsey can do so many different things that aren't even necessarily within Andy Reid getting them open and scheming them open on top of that. So you combine genius play calling with two guys who are on another level when it comes to reading each other within a broken or semi-broken play. And that's why you get the phenomenon that is Mahomes to Kelsey.
Absolutely.
So that's just another fun thing to watch and watch how the Eagles scheme against that.
So speaking of the Kelsey brothers, pick the game. Which brother do you want to win?
Oh, I mean, I would much rather have Travis win, but that's simply because his interview is going to be, I mean, as entertaining as Jason's would be, he has a family, and like his entertainment is only going to be so high. Like, he's as enjoyable as Travis when it comes to the podcasting.
Right.
But as far as like in the moment celebrations, like what we got last week from Travis, basically telling the mayor of Cincinnati to suck it, and, you know, Burrow that it's not his stadium. Like, you're just going to get more raw emotion, and less give a shit out of Travis.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more entertaining.
The other side, Jason, may or may not have a kid. They are literally bringing their OB
She'll be
to the game.
I mean, yeah.
You got that storyline.
You voluntered to be the OB, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think my wife did. She would call in.
Just in case.
Like, I can catch a baby.
I catch a baby. I've had a couple of them. So that's the storyline between the Kelsey brothers, which I think is phenomenal. Then you've got the other brother type storyline. First 2 black starting quarterbacks.
And youngest combined ages of starting quarterbacks in NFL history.
Pretty big names.
Just under, I believe it was 51 years and either 7 months or 10 months, something like that, between the two. So youngest combined age of 2 starting quarterbacks in Super Bowl history.
So it's really cool storylines from that perspective. Very happy to go into it. And that's kind of my whole point to this. I don't care who wins, really, honestly. Right. Like, I obviously want the Chiefs to win because I can win money on that bet. But outside of that, this should be just a hell of a game.
Yeah.
I don't hate any player on either team. I'm not rooting against for one or another. Obviously, I have more Chiefs fans as friends than I do Eagles fans. But, like, still, it's like this is one of those Super Bowl matchups where you really, really hope that every year is like, where 2 teams, high caliber, both sides, being able to go head to head. And relatively healthy, right?
Yeah, and we even hit on it last week as far as like when all 4 of the teams that were playing were healthy, there really wasn't going to be a bad matchup in the Super Bowl, and it was hard to hate anybody. Now there's certain people that hate certain guys.
Right.
Certain people hate Mahomes, hate Burrow, whatever you want to say. A lot of people that just hate the Eagles in general.
That's
a Philly thing.
That's a Philly thing.
But generally speaking, I mean, it was going to be 4 teams that, deserved to be in the Super Bowl, that type of thing. And I think that's what fans respect the most, is just like they didn't feel like anybody lucked into the Super Bowl. I mean, we got the 2 number 1 seeds. At the end of the day, people like upsets. It's like March Madness. People love upsets until it comes down to Elite 8, Final 4. And then you want to see the Blue Bloods
go at it.
Kick, scratch, claw, and you want to see the best of the best, the ones that you earned their spot there. 2 number 1 seeds. We don't see that too often anymore with the parity in the NFL. So, and then they match up like they do, exact points, records, all of those things. So, going to be an extremely fun one. I'm definitely going to be leaning Chiefs, as I have more Chiefs fans in my life. But the biggest thing, and it's a broken record here, the refs cannot have a memorable impact on this game. And my fear is it's going to happen.
It's the way this year's gone.
Yeah, I don't see it not. And so not having a dog in the fight, it drags me down thinking about it, and I will literally be waiting the entire game for it to happen. And that's super disappointing. Just as you were talking about that, like that cloud came over me, and I was just like, that's shitty. But it's what the NFL has put in front of us and has delivered as a product all season, playoffs included, that at some point during the game, the officials almost every week and in almost every game have made themselves an unnecessary part of the game. And so somehow I hope that gets corrected this week, that they don't miss a call, that they don't screw a team out of a challenge or a touchdown or anything that is remotely tide changing from a momentum standpoint or anything like that. Understand there's going to be mistakes made, holds missed, whatever. There's going to be penalties out there. Like, that stuff's going to happen. But when the game matters, let the players decide it. And so if you're going to let Lane Johnson jump off sides the whole game, then, we're going to have to miss a late hit on the quarterback. Or, whatever it may be that might be questionable, like a graze on the helmet. Like, as long as those things offset, I will be okay.
Right.
As soon as they don't or start leaning one way or the other, and I will say, like, when we look back 2 weeks, what happened with the Eagles being very one-sided, even though they kicked the shit out of the 49ers, that game was a very one-sided officiated game. Chiefs-Bengals lean towards the Chiefs being one-sided, even though, the Bengals got a couple calls back. So it ended up being almost even, but I would say that even leaned towards the Chiefs a little bit.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to see either one of those things happen in this game. Again, likely inevitable because of what we've seen this year, but they have the technology to get it right. So just get it right.
I just think I know I'll know the first snap. If Lane Johnson gets to do that, that to me already swings in Eagles' favor.
Well, and also, as noted before, but not this week yet, head referee for the game his crew has thrown the most penalty flags of any crew all season. So that also has me down. And there's no reason I should be down about the Super Bowl, but those things have been consistent all year. There's no reason to expect any changes. No. So it would be the most amazing surprise if somehow we were to get through the game and I didn't remember reffing being an issue.
We have the technology. We have a chip. We have all the angles in the world.
Yeah.
Buzz it down. There should be no challenge flags that are needed,
right,
let alone taken away.
Right.
Like, not needed. And you throw a flag on Lane Johnson twice for false starting, I'm good.
Yeah.
The holding stuff, yeah, you'll have those.
Right.
You're going to miss those.
Yeah.
Nothing egregious. Let's let them play.
Right.
but let them play within the confines.
Yeah.
I swear, I'm gonna hit upon it. I might tweet it. I might live chat it. I swear to God, if Lane Johnson is able to false start every play,
Right.
what's the point? What are we playing?
You're just giving advantages to start. Here's the question that I have as we've had this conversation. It came to my mind is who benefits more from being allowed to, as you said, play, which most of the time in the Super Bowl, they do let them play.
They do.
Do you see a distinct advantage on either side for letting a defense specifically? That's what we're usually talking about, letting a defense basically get hands on receivers, because that's more so where the let them play comes into today's NFL is how physical can I be in one-on-one, how physical can I be within the 5-yard contact zone, maybe 7 to 10 when it comes to some leeway. As far as like one-on-one balls down the field, are we going to throw PI? Are we going to let them play through that? Unless somebody's getting tackled, like that type of stuff. Do you feel strongly that one team benefits more than the other in that?
I would only say because the receiving core for the Eagles is deeper with bigger playmakers, that offensively it's leaned that way for me.
Okay. And I immediately that's where my mind went as well, simply because I think the Eagles, the Eagles are known to take more deep shots like that as far as one-on-one shots. The only thing the other side of that is Travis Kelsey.
Correct.
And if the Eagles are allowed to, they're going to double team him most likely. I sure as hell hope so. If I'm game planning against them, I'm making any of the other Chiefs receivers beat me.
Right.
But also the fact that can they push him? Can they throw him off his route at the line of scrimmage? Now, again, Andy Reid, brilliant in lining him up in places to be successful, even if he is being double teamed. And Mahomes and him will more than likely find a way to connect. But if they are allowed to be physical with him, that wears him out for late in the game.
It also gets into him mentally. He has a little short fuse.
100%.
And if that happens.
Yeah. So that's why.
Yeah, I get you.
Immediately my mind went to you, but then when I flipped it back, I was like, Devontae Smith, not a real physical guy, but he's a fast guy. So if you can be physical with him anyway, I don't really even know if that would be outside the norm. Right. AJ Brown is a guy that is going to invite contact. Is a guy that wants to hand fight. He wants to battle one-on-one. He wants to try to moss you, if you will. Whereas, and it's not like Kelsey's not used to it, but I think that can throw the Chiefs off from a timing perspective, because Mahomes is going to need to get the ball out of his hand, I think, more often
to someone
in
else.
A quick factor, like get through a read, get off of Kelsey if that's the case, could have a bigger impact on the Chiefs than Hurts trying to get the ball off to receivers where Goddard's probably going to be in one-on-one situations. You get Miles Sanders out of the backfield in one-on-one situations, or he's just going to tuck it and run.
It's definitely that point hole leads to it's more beneficial for the Eagles overall, just more beneficial in that regard. All right, hey, before we get into actually picking, do you want to do this though? Okay, coin toss, heads or tails.
I'm a tails guy.
Yeah, me too. So we're gonna go ahead and put $10 on tails.
Okay,
done. All right, so let's get into it. Odds have not changed since we spoke. Thank God, because that would be a problem if they did. Again, Eagles are favored 1.5. Money line -122. Totals 50.5. What say you?
All of this talk's done nothing but continue to. As you can see
back
here,
and forth
I
100
usually
times.
have picks written down.
Yeah.
Did not write my picks down because head and heart are in different spots. Head says Philadelphia is a more complete team. It tells me that in Super Bowls, as complete teams have come into Super Bowls, they have defeated what, in my opinion, would be better quarterbacks as a general outcome. Hart says Jalen Hurts isn't going to beat Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
They're going to find a way. Mahomes is healthy. Andy Reid, slight advantage in head coaching, but not a huge one. Both coaches, I think, are going to take chances. So whichever one takes the bigger chance. The Eagles are really good in third and fourth and short. The Chiefs are really bad.
Really bad. Across the board, by the way.
And
offense, defense, bad.
Big games usually come down to those big types of, like, those situations happen more in bigger games and competitive games. So that's what keeps pushing me back to the heads. The head. So I'm leaning Eagles.
Yeah.
I just think that they have a better chance to make some mistakes, not play perfect football, and not even perfect, but they have a better chance to play 80% and win than the Chiefs do, or 75%, whatever you want to call it. Like, they have a chance to still be in the game based on making plays in other areas. Then I think that the Chiefs have to be a little bit, as far as turnovers, anything like that. I just think that in the red zone, the Eagles are more likely to score a touchdown than the Chiefs, or not settle for a field goal. Those types of things. And when a game's only 1.5, those things matter. The Chiefs have averaged somewhere around 24, 25 points a game, I think, in the playoffs. The Eagles are 34, 35. I don't give too much. I mean, the Eagles haven't played anybody, in my opinion. I think the Chiefs will be the best defense they face. They'll also be the best offense they face.
Yeah. And
the Chiefs will be trying to play a more controlled game, and so will the Eagles. And so I do see this as an under, actually. I can definitely see it going over 27-24, 28-24, somewhere in that range. But I think somehow this game stays under, and I think that it ends up being like a 24-23, something like that. I think there are going to be, I think both defensive coordinators are going to set up to where there ends up being a couple field goals for both sides, where teams can move the ball a little bit, bend but don't break. Both defenses able to create a little havoc maybe in the red zone, create a sack or something like that puts a team, out of red zone or back into field goal range type of thing instead of scoring a touchdown. So I will go under the 50.5, and I will go I'm just going to completely bitch out. I'll go Philly to win and Kansas City to cover.
Okay, Ryan.
I said 24-23 in my defense.
Yeah, well, screw your defense.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about the game. It's such it's a fence. It's a fence bet.
It is a fence bet.
Yeah.
It is also just a coin toss, which I go with tails. In this case,
where do you want me to put this?
Just put it just there. It doesn't matter. We've hit upon it multiple times, and you know what? As the defensive guy, I actually do not see these teams stopping each other as much. Turnovers, obviously, again, we don't bet on turnovers. However, if turnovers do not occur, I believe they will punch it in. There's too much going on offensively. So I'm actually going to go over.
Okay.
And I do believe it's more of a 27-24, 30-27 game. I'm going to say it's 37-34 just because that's what has already been projected. So I'm going to just throw that out there. But I do believe it'll be a 27-24 type game. Now, you made such the good point, and and this is where I was going to, was the Eagles are able to they're going to be able to overcome more in this game than the Chiefs. And I mean injuries, I mean mistakes, really any of that. The Chiefs have a very fine line for them. Mahomes can't go down. Kelsey can't go down. They have to be able to protect. He can't just be running around. Defensively, they can't lose another DB at all. And so you start adding all of those things up, and you just have to go with a team that is deeper. And for that fact, I'm gonna go Eagles.
37-34.
37-34. Yep.
Got it.
Don't be surprised if that's 27-24. But 37-34, Eagles, fly, Eagles. However,
yeah, we're both on the Eagles.
if the Chiefs win and I have to do a shitty shot because of it,
Yeah. Amen, right?
hey, $550, I will buy them all.
Right. Let's see. So there's a chance here based on results, with over under being different. And
So we could tie.
that we could tie. So we need a tiebreaker, which can be any one.
I'm looking at these
of
like side. I'm looking at these different side things.
bets.
Yep. Let's see what these prop bets.
I haven't seen, and I was trying to look to see what the MVP odds are. I would assume Hurts and Mahomes are 1 and 2.
They are. I know they're 1-1,
So
130
same.
each.
Okay. So,
Just got this. By the way, this is a Super Bowl special. AJ Brown 4+ receptions, Kelsey 5+, minus 200.
Yeah.
All right, you should probably take that.
Right.
That's gonna happen.
don't disagree.
Let's see. Coin toss winner. There's so many props.
Yeah.
Mahomes props.
Just need to decide.
I mean, I would have done the coin toss, but we both picked. So,
Right.
so that doesn't help.
I mean, you've got passing props for the game. Jalen Hurts is 238.5 yards. Mahomes is 292.5. Man, I don't really have any strong thoughts on that.
First offensive play of the game, run and pass. I wish there was a play action. I feel like I know it's a pass, but there should be that's a little different.
I think it'll be a run.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking play action.
You'll go pass.
So there
All
it
right.
is. By the way, runs minus 172, passes plus 140. I think it's going to be play action.
Tiebreaker.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Especially if I'm the Eagles, I'm doing it. A little zone read. Right up the seam. Get him moving.
A sack is a pass.
Yeah.
But a quarterback scramble.
It's a run.
Are you run of 0?
Run. We just tie again.
Yeah, that's just both.
That
of
would
us.
be us.
We both get a shitty
yeah.
shot.
Yep.
The scramble for 0 yards. Yes. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Last play of the game to be a quarterback kneel. Why would that even be bettable? Like the odds of it being it's only minus 230. The last play of the game?
Yeah.
Like besides a game-winning field goal
It all depends on.
and a Hail Mary. The rest are all kneels. Like,
Yeah.
I don't all right. There's some fun ones in here. Will the 2-minute warning be exactly at 2 minutes?
You got to go with no.
Yeah, you absolutely have to go with no. Plus 410.
Oh, yeah.
Some good ones. What will happen? First, a sack or a touchdown scored? Those are minus 110.
What's the? I know we can't bet it here in Iowa because it is not a game prop. But have you seen numbers on length of? Let's see. Was it length of national anthem? Usually it's somewhere around 2 minutes or so. The over/under is usually right around 2 minutes.
Always good ones.
So you're going to have all of those. Obviously, a ton of game day and in-game betting for the Super Bowl. Number one day of the year for Vegas. Simply because there's so many props. It's right up there with
Also
first day.
the only thing on.
Well, right. But I mean, you have a first day of NCAA March Madness. Just because you have so many games.
Right.
But those are the big times. Wild Card Weekend is actually a top 3 or 4 weekend in Vegas, simply because you have number of games and prestige of games. But overall, just a really fun weekend. Again, my one hope, if only one thing can happen all weekend, for me, it's the lack of impact of refereeing. That they don't overdo it, and also that you don't underdo it. That you make the calls. You need to. Don't get me wrong, but don't be memorable.
Yeah, and I would take that one. I'm just gonna go with health. I hope there's no big injuries.
Good one.
And we can just play mano a mano all game long without the refs, obviously, and just see who's the better team at the end.
Yeah,
just a bunch of warriors getting at it. And we can all respect the hell out of that.
100.
So, Super Bowl weekend. Enjoy. Look at that. Got him. And we'll be back next week to break that down. And we'll start getting, obviously, golf is going to be there. But March Madness is coming. Drake has.
It's going to be Sunday night.
So, enjoy it. We'll see you next week.